Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered about the mysterious red planet shining from millions of kilometers away? Today, let's take a deep dive into Mars, a world that has fascinated scientists, astronomers, and dreamers for centuries. Mars is often called the Red Planet, and there's a simple reason for that. Its surface is covered with iron oxide, basically rust, which gives it that reddish color. When sunlight hits the planet, it reflects a rusty red glow, making Mars stand out in the night sky. Even though it looks bright and beautiful from Earth, Mars is actually a cold, dry desert world. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun, sitting right next to Earth in our solar system. In many ways, it is like Earth's smaller neighbor. Mars is about half the size of Earth and has mountains, valleys, deserts, and even polar ice caps. A day on Mars is surprisingly similar to a day on Earth. One Martian day, called a sol, is about 24 hours and 37 minutes long, just around 40 minutes longer than a day on Earth. But when it comes to a year, things are very different. Mars takes about 687 Earth days to complete one full orbit around the Sun. That means 1 year on Mars is nearly twice as long as a year on Earth. So if you lived on Mars, you would celebrate your birthday much less often. Now let's talk about temperature. Mars may look warm and dusty, but it is actually extremely cold. The average temperature on Mars is around 60 degrees Celsius, and in some places it can drop to 125 degrees. That's colder than Antarctica on Earth. The reason Mars is so cold is because it has a very thin atmosphere. Unlike Earth, Mars cannot trap heat from the Sun, so most of the warmth escapes back into space. Speaking of the atmosphere, Mars' air is mostly made of carbon dioxide, with only a tiny amount of oxygen. So, humans cannot breathe on Mars without a spacesuit or life support system. The thin atmosphere also means Mars has very low air pressure and no strong protection from space radiation or meteor strikes. But Mars is not just cold and empty, it is full of wonders. Mars is home to the largest volcano in the entire solar system, called Olympus Mons. This giant volcano is almost 3 times taller than Mount Everest and about the size of the entire country of France. Mars also has a massive canyon system called Valles Marineris, which is over 4,000 kilometers long. To imagine that, it's so big it would stretch across the entire United States.
These massive features show that Mars was once a very active planet. One of the most exciting questions about Mars is, was there ever life there? Scientists believe that billions of years ago, Mars may have had rivers, lakes, and even oceans. Today, liquid water cannot exist on Mars' surface because it is too cold and the atmosphere is too thin. But we have found evidence of frozen water at the poles and beneath the surface. If water once flowed there, life might have existed in the past, even if it was just tiny microbes. That's why space agencies around the world are so interested in Mars. NASA and other organizations have sent several missions to study the planet. Rovers like Curiosity, Opportunity, and Perseverance have explored the Martian surface, taking pictures, analyzing rocks, and searching for signs of ancient life. Perseverance is even collecting samples that scientists hope to bring back to Earth in the future. Mars also has 2 small moons named Phobos and Deimos. They look nothing like our round moon. Instead, they are oddly shaped like potatoes. Scientists think they may actually be captured asteroids. Phobos is slowly getting closer to Mars, and one day, far in the future, it may crash into the planet or break apart into a ring. But perhaps the most exciting thing about Mars is the future. Many scientists believe Mars is the best place for humans to live one day beyond Earth. Space agencies and private companies are working on plans for human missions to Mars. These missions could help us understand how to live on another world, study the planet more closely, and maybe even begin building a future colony. Mars challenges us. It reminds us that space is vast, mysterious, and full of possibilities. From its giant volcanoes and deep canyons to its frozen deserts and ancient mysteries, Mars is not just another planet. It is a symbol of exploration, curiosity, and the human dream to reach beyond our home world. One day, when humans finally step onto the dusty red surface and leave footprints on Mars, it will be one of the greatest moments in history. Until then, we continue to explore, learn, and dream.